Oh, so this is a geography video from a channel called Oz Geology. Did I say geography instead of geology? I think I did. So this was about a plan to flood the north of Australia and why it failed. I mean, it kind of floods itself once a year, doesn't it?
In dusty government offices and optimistic boardrooms, men pored over maps of the empty north. They saw the vast plains around the Ord River and imagined them checkered with fields of cotton, rice and sugarcane.
Growing water-intensive crops in Australia is so dumb. I don't know why we grow cotton here, and I don't know why we grow rice here. We do not have the water to do that. It's so dumb. I've had to listen to my dad go on like 5 million rants about this. Seriously, like, it's insane. He gets so angry about it. But yeah, like, our water management in this country is so subpar. And don't even get me started on the Murray-Darling River. Oh my goodness.
Politicians and planners spoke in rousing tones of making the desert bloom. The Ord River, they declared, would no longer idly spill into the ocean each wet season.
Apparently Australia export more virtual water in meat and crops and stuff. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because we're obviously like a very big agricultural, agrarian country.
Construction began in 1969, and the scale of it captured the nation's imagination. Dynamite blasts echoed through the ranges as tons of rock and earth were piled into a wall throttling the river. Hundreds of workers toiled in remote camps.
Oh my god, imagine working on that dam in that heat with like no cover. I would actually die. Well, I would die because I have lupus and I can't go in the sun. I would just die. I would be dead.
The Ord River's flow slowed, then ceased, and began rising inexorably behind the dam. Trees and scrub on the valley floor were submerged. The Great Lake Argyle was being born.
Salem Friday. Do you know about the town that used to be where Warragamba Dam is, that they flooded to make Warragamba Dam? I don't know. I just remember once when there was a dam, where there was a drought. God, I can't speak English. I just remember once when there was a drought, you could start to see like the old town that they submerged under there. It's like someplace out like near Wallachia. I didn't get diagnosed with lupus until later. So I might have had it when I was a kid, but I don't think I did. Yeah, Western Sydney summers are definitely not great, especially like because my family was way too poor to have air conditioning. I never like lived in an air conditioned house until like I rented my own home. No, not in the snowy mountains like Warragamba Dam, like the one that you know when you go to there's a lookout in Wenty, like the if you go down King's Tableland Road, you know, the lake that you can see what's it called? Lake Burragarang, like Warragamba Dam. I don't know. It was some town. The Jindabyne one's a different town. That was like the Snowy Mountains Dam, I think. I can't remember what it was called. I'd have to look it up. I don't know. Sorry, I'm a scatterbrain. Yeah, Salem Friday. There was a town in that valley. I think it was called like Wallandilly Valley or something. Let me look it up. Dude, that abandoned hospital is so freaky. Did your friends ever like try to go to like the abandoned psychiatric hospital in Wentworth Falls? No, don't go anywhere near there, man. That shit is haunted. Scary. All right. Warragamba Dam, flooded town valley. Haunting remains of flooded town emerged due to drought. Ongoing drought and dropping dam levels around the lower Blue Mountains has resulted in the re-emergence of some haunting artifacts. Remnants of old towns and villages, including wells, buildings, roads, bridges, and railway lines, have poked above water in catchments and lakes around the lower Blue Mountains. Being submerged underwater has resulted in the partial preservation of many artifacts, which can only be seen during times of significant drought. An old US Army tank sits in Lake Burragarang, which is what you can see from the lookout in Wentworth Falls. So the valley is just, yeah, like right there. Among the stranger heritage items are Teapot torpedo net poles up against the dam wall at Cataract Dam, once used to catch potential bombs before they exploded and protect the dam during World War II. There is also an old US Army tank that sits in Lake Barragarang. Yeah, so this is like what the town, yeah, Wallandilly River, Barragarang. So this is the town that used to be like in that valley. If you drive down that dirt road, this town, that's the town. Yeah, there's just a tank chilling. Yeah, most dams are made like that, right? They flood something. And yeah, there was a town. There was a whole ass town down there, which I think like you used to access it by like driving like out towards Malaysia. Sorry, this is probably boring for people that don't know where any of these places are, but you know, ADHD is a hell of a drug, guys. Yeah, it is Wallachia, like Wallachia in Romania. Yeah, it's a really, really pretty place. I think the land and houses there are like worth like, I think 5-6 mil, because it's like on the Nepean River, and it's like, it's just really pretty. The prices just exploded out there. But I think because like it's really huge like land parcels as well, I think like their acreages.
The dream of a northern food bowl was not entirely dead. It would resurface every so often in political speeches.
It's so beautiful, but think about the crocs and think about the UV. But think about the uranium we could find out there, guys. Don't forget about my plan for us to enrich our own uranium, okay? We can do it. We can do it if we try, guys. We can.
Today, an early morning mist rises from the waters of Lake Argyll, and the dam wall stands as a colossal monument to 20th century ambition. It still provides water for the pared-down farms of Kununurra, generates hydropower, and supports a small town that wouldn't exist without it.
Well, I guess it does something. I mean, do you reckon there's crocs in there? That's what I'm thinking about. I don't know. Whenever I think about anything up north, I'm just like crocodiles. Doesn't sound good. Humidity, crocodiles. Nope. Not about that life, guys. Nope.
The story of damming the rivers has become a cautionary tale that grand visions must reckon with ground truths. And so, as twilight falls over both Lake Argyll and the free-flowing Fitzroy, one cannot help but feel a deep awe. I hope you found this as interesting as I did. And as always,
I did.
Thanks for watching.
You're welcome, Oz Geology. Anything north of Queensland, you think of crocs, humidity, VB, and bogans. Well, the V in VB stands for Victoria. I don't know. Don't they drink 4X up there? I don't know. That's what, like, the Brizzy Broncos are sponsored by 4X. Queensland Maroons are sponsored by 4X. I don't know. That seems to be their beer, right? Tui's is the New South Welsh Bureau of sponsorship. Although the Blues have been sponsored by VB. Yeah, 4X and Great Northern is Queensland. Yeah, that checks out. Great Northern is a big one now. Yeah, I haven't tried it. Is it good? It's kind of like Carlton Dry. Okay. Yeah, that's decent. I usually drink Japanese beers or Korean beers because if I like do, on the odd chance that I do go out, it's usually to a Korean or a Japanese. Restaurant's a strong word, you know, like a franchise restaurant. I don't like to spend money, so I like to go to like franchises. I like to go to like Korean fried chicken, Gammy's fried chicken and beer. It's very good because I love Korean food. Yeah, Cass is a really good beer. I really like it. I like to get on the sojus as well. Those are good, but I can't drink that much because of the medication that I'm on. But yeah, it's like meeting people from Queensland and meeting people from Western Sydney, and nobody cares about state of origin. I'm just like the odd little bogan out. It's like very, very disenchanting. You feel like everyone in Sydney drinks Cooper's or Carlton Draft. Yeah. Tui's Extra Dry had a moment in the sun, I remember, but yeah, I don't really go out that much. I don't have the energy, so I don't really know what bevies people are consuming out there. Wow. Just grabbing my drink. Sorry, guys. Game 3, you'll get into it. Yeah. I do. I like to have some state pride. I never knew how much the other states in Australia hated New South Wales until I moved. I was like, oh, we like you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah. Oh well. You can't drink beer. It gives you a headache. Oh, that sucks. I sometimes get headaches when I drink beer, but I find like if I'm hydrated and stuff before I start drinking, it's usually okay. You feel like everyone hates Sydney ciders? Well, I don't know. Like, the thing is, people from Sydney are really, really friendly. I mean, look, it depends where you go. Like, there's obviously, like, you know, the really rich dickheads. If you go to, like, a really rich suburb, if you're, like, on the North Shore or you're, like, in the eastern suburbs, then yeah, like, but that's, like, not most of us, right? Like, people in the west and the southwest are pretty nice. And that's like the bulk of us. So I don't know. We're not rich in harbour views, but we're rich in friendship and alcoholism. And at the end of the day, isn't that what counts, guys? I think it is. Queenslanders dislike Victorians. You don't know how happy that makes me, Joey. You don't know how happy that makes me to hear. That makes me ecstatic. Because I was talking to this dickhead Victorian guy who, like, he worked at like a flooring place. I was with my friend who was renovating. She just had like bought her first little flat, but it was like, you know, she needed to redo all the flooring and all of that. Can't remember how we started talking about the footy, but we ended up talking about the footy and yada, yada, yada. And he was like, oh yeah, I watched State of Origin. He was like, oh yeah, go for Queensland. I'm like, oh, are you from Queensland? He's like, no, I'm moving there. And he was like telling me where he was moving, like near Noosa. He invested in housing like 20 years ago and he has all this money and yada, yada, yada. He was like, oh, I know I'm a Mexican, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're New South Wales people call Victorians Mexicans because you're south of our border. Like, you don't even get how this works. And then he was just going on about how much he hates New South Wales and yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, all right, well, I don't know. Like, I don't even remember all the things that he said, but he was just like super obnoxious. And it's like, you're not from Queensland, you weirdo. You can't just like laugh like you're a Queenslander. Like, I was born and raised in like Western Sydney. Me like being enculturated in Western Sydney stuff is like not performative, it's real. That's why you hate footy. People get way into it and make it like their personality. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Look, like, I just enjoy it and it is like a hobby, I guess, and it's also like a good way for me to meet people from Western Sydney that live in Melbourne because they'll usually also be like Giants supporters. Yeah, I know it's not typical for like goth girls or something to be into sport, but like, I grew up very close to my dad and we used to watch sports together. We used to go fishing together and do all those types of things. And it's just something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy contact sports. I really enjoy like UFC. I just like, you know, I like a bit of bloke on bloke action and I think that's okay. I think it's all right for me to admitting to like that. We can like many different things and it's okay, you know? But yeah, making something your entire personality is like not great. I just enjoy a bit of NRL and a bit of AFL and you know, some bloke on bloke action. It's I find it very fascinating. No, I definitely love guys in short shorts tackling each other. That's 100% what it's about. Like, I'll cop to that. That's fine. Sorry, this video is going to be a bit heavy. Israeli soldiers ordered to fire at civilians in Gaza. Which, you know, is charming.
Figures released today by the Hamas-controlled Gaza government say 549 people have been killed in the first month of the foundation's work, 4,066 injured.
Any operation that channels desperate civilians into militarized zones is inherently unsafe. It's killing people. It's time for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
Yeah, but that's why they're doing it. They're hurting the people in there because it's the only place they can go to get food. They're starving. And then they're mowing people down. They're using their aid as a pretext to get people in there. I feel like this stream's all over the shop. We've just gone from talking about guys in footy shorts to Gaza. But I mean, this is the world we live in, unfortunately, guys. They didn't even make it 1 month before mask off death camps. Yeah, 100%. But we're supposed to still give Israel all this good grace because of what happened in World War II, when they're literally, like, they were literally herding people into cattle pens under the pretext of like, oh, you know, to form an orderly line to receive aid. And then they were just literally shooting people. Yeah, I am a very ADHD girl, Joey. It's just it's just how we are around these parts. At least a lot of countries have actually started to have the balls to at least like impose some type of sanctions, and obviously that's like not enough, but at least it's something. At least it's sending a strong message, you know, diplomatically. I mean, really, we should be expelling, you know, Israeli diplomatic staff. They're committing war crimes. Like, they're committing war crimes, and ethnic cleansing at best, and a genocide at worst. Like, it's not that complicated. It is complicated, unfortunately, because all the geopolitical entanglements with Israel and APAC money and having America by the balls, and then by extension having Australia by the balls, because Israel's got America by the balls and America has us by the balls. So, you know, we're just all pulling each other's balls, and it's you know, some people are at risk of developing testicular cancer, so we've got to be careful out there, guys. Maybe we should start distributing boxes to world leaders to protect their tackle. It's rough out there. It's rough out there in geopolitics for world leaders and their testicles. It is just one big ball off.
I am again an intelligence officer in a position that I have to make a recommendation to my Prime Minister. I would say, stop it. Stop it by now. We achieved enough.
Would you? You'd say stop it.
Stop it by now.
In Gaza?
Absolutely. On the spot.
That's good advice. That is good advice. And look, like I said, like I've been saying the last week or so, Mossad definitely can 100% has the technology and the capability to locate those hostages and extract them with minimal casualties. They don't want to. That's the crux of it. They want to have a pretext to flatten Gaza and kill as many people as they can so they can annex Gaza and have it a part of Israel proper, because that's always been the goal. And then it'll be the West Bank, mark my words, and that'll either be Egypt or Jordan after that. And, you know, the greater Israel plan is coming together. Well, hopefully it's not. The technical advantage is so extreme. It is so extreme. Like, even just what archaeologists and stuff use, I know that they've got this type of technology, but imagine what Mossad and the United States government have that we don't know about, right? Because they always say that DARPA with like the US government, they always say that like the technology that's getting released today is like DARPA's 30-year-old technology. So like the tech that's coming out now, DARPA's had for at least 30 years.
And tonight, the Israeli Prime Minister has responded to these allegations that his troops are under orders to fire on unarmed civilians in Gaza, describing them as, and I quote, vile blood libel.
But we've seen the footage, and we've seen the fallout, and we've seen the casualties. So how does that work?
These are malicious lies aimed at slandering the Israeli army, the most moral army in the world. And from
Well, sweet mother of Edward Bernays, that is propaganda on a... Oof. What? I'm actually lost for words. What an insane thing to say.
in Gaza itself tonight, some updated statistics.
The most moral. They are the most moral guys.
2 more civilians were killed just today by Israeli armed forces, of whom they say 10 were lining up to get desperately needed food aid.
It 100% is on the same level as Nazi propaganda. It 100% is. That's the ironic thing, right? They use what happened in World War II as like a shield, as some type of armor to deflect any criticism of what they're doing when it's on par. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's just so extreme and so... It's just so shocking in how like blatant it is, and we're just supposed to sit there and like accept them just lying to our faces. And like, yeah, the world governments are scared to say anything, right? Because they've got like basically the unfettered support of the US. And it's like, well, it's just insanity. It's just absolute insanity. What bargaining chips does Israel have? Well, there's a lot of AIPAC money that basically every single American politician apparently has an AIPAC handler. The right-wing like journalist Tucker Carlson, he interviewed one of the only politicians in Congress that doesn't have an AIPAC handler, and he was saying, yeah, like he has a really, really hard time because he won't take Israeli money, and it gets him into a lot of trouble with the other Republicans in the party because he doesn't want to go along with like Israel's mandate. Basically, every American politician has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Israeli government. It doesn't come, you know, without strings attached. The other thing is like Jeffrey Epstein is the person that we know about, right? But he was a Mossad agent, and his job was to get dirt files on high profile Americans, including politicians. Obviously, Bill Clinton went to, you know, on the Lolita Express to the island. So the whole thing, right, was to get these rich and powerful men into compromising positions and get photos of them or video of them, and then to be able to use that as leverage for blackmails. Let me see if I can find that interview, and then we'll go. It is actually related, so it's not too much of a tangent.
Everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC.
Oh, it's got writing. Hang on. Hey, Ghoul Bandit. What's up? Hope you're having a good night. I'm just going to go back because it's got text. So I'm just going to read the text in case anyone's doing audio only, which some people do. So we'll just go back.
Everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC.
In an interview with Tucker Carlson, Congressman Tommy Massey says Republicans in Congress all are under the influence of AIPAC.
That's how it works on the Republican
a powerful Israeli lobbyist group.
side. And when they come to DC, you go have lunch with them. And they've got your cell number, and you have conversations with them. Ostensibly, it's a group of Americans who lobby on behalf of Israel. They're for anything Israel. And they're a very effective lobbying group.
That's a part of the picture. And this is both sides of politics. It's the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And there's Thomas Massey saying he's like the only sitting Republican member that doesn't have an AIPAC person. So he hasn't taken money from them. But basically before they do anything or before they vote for anything, they ring their AIPAC person and ask them what they're supposed to do, right? Because all of this has come with strings. We don't know what else, what else their AIPAC handler has done for them. It wouldn't surprise me if it involves blackmail as well as money. But yeah, I'm so glad we cannot elect dual citizens also. It's really, really, really smart of the fathers of Federation to put that in the Australian Constitution. Split loyalty isn't something that you want from your sitting officials. And look, it's fine to be proud of your ethnicity and where your ancestors are from. That's fine. But, we're all Australian, and that's what matters. Just being sick cunts out here down under, chilling, having some bevies, not going out in the sun if you're me. It's all good in the hood. Who's watched Crash Landing on You? That show was cute. It's when a South Korean heiress, there's a tornado when she's like paragliding, and she gets like carried off into North Korea, and this like heaps hot Korean officer finds her in a tree, and he tells her how to get back to South Korea, but she doesn't believe him, so she runs the wrong way into North Korea. And she's just stuck in like North Korea for like a year, and it's just a really cute, romantic, nice K-drama. Yeah, just thought I would bring that up. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's really nice. It's really, really funny and really, really cute, and I like it a lot. Yeah, the the young soldier kids when they come to South Korea. That's so cute. That is the cutest story. That's like my favorite. That's like my favorite part of them because they're so adorable. Oh, I love that show. They were the best. They were the best part. Like the love story and stuff was like super cute, but they were the most endearing characters. They were so cute. I loved them so much. I think I've seen that series like 2 or 3 times. I'll probably watch it again like in a year because I just really like it. It's so cute.
A lot of this had to be redesigned from scratch because the country was destroyed in the Korean.
I think from memory, and I could be getting this wrong, but I think from memory, where Seoul is used to be called Hanyang because it's on the Han River. And yet Pyongyang is, a river city as well. I believe because there's been a few different kingdoms in Korea. There's been like the Shilla era. Obviously the Choson is the most famous one that we know that only ended at the beginning of the 20th century when the Japanese invaded and occupied and they ended the Choson dynasty. And then there were the three kingdom period of Korea. Yeah, I think so. I watch way too many K-dramas, guys. I love the historical K-dramas. They're really cool too. I mean, what don't I like, really? I watch all of them. I have a problem even learning to speak Korean so I can fold the washing while I watch K-drama without having to read the subtitles. You learned about the 3 kingdoms from Civ 6? Yeah. I think they had to add Korea as like a playable country because so many Koreans play Civilization, right? Like they had to actually just add it to the game. They just be taking over all the games like StarCraft and all of that, all the esports. Apparently, support for reunification amongst young people is really, really low now because the people that especially the families and stuff that did get separated, a lot of those people are dying out now. It's only like older people, the elderly people that have brothers or sisters or I guess some people have grandparents and stuff like that are stuck in North Korea. But a lot of people in South Korea, apparently the support for reunification has gone right down. They just aren't really interested at this point. But I think the longer they're 2 separate countries, I think the bigger the cultural gap will be if they ever do reunify. You see the problems that defectors have when they defect from North Korea. They have a lot of trouble assimilating, and the dialect is very different. Even the language is different. And look, there are dialectal differences in South Korea anyway. Someone from Busan will have a Busan dialect or whatever. It's like how people in Osaka speak differently. Kansai in Japan has a different dialect of Japanese than the rest of Japan. It's kind of like that. But as the countries are set, the longer the countries are separated, the more, the bigger the gulf is gonna grow culturally. They do speak the same language and they do have the same history, but yeah, they're obviously somewhat evolving in isolation now. So it will be interesting to see what happens. I was watching a K-drama and there was this rich family called the Kim family, and my friend didn't realize that 25% of people in Korea have the surname Kim, and that's North Korea and South Korea. And he was like, oh, so is that Kim Jong-un's cousin, or how are they related? And I'm like, they're not related. Yeah, I thought I would give you guys a bit of a treat. Here's some sexy communist legs, guys. The communists do keep their legs sexy. It was really funny because Park, Lee, and Kim make up 40% of the surnames in Korea. And God bless, they didn't know. A lot of villages in North Korea don't have power at night. You're 100% right. They don't. They have to use candles and stuff like that. That's why so much of the map is black at night. It's an elite class. It's kind of like an Animal Farm type of things. We're all equal, but 2 legs are better than 4 sort of situation, where everyone that lives in Pyongyang is the more elite class. That's why they a lot of them live in apartments and they have electricity and stuff where like everybody else doesn't, and they have enough food to eat and like everybody else doesn't. There's a city that borders on the Chinese North Korean border. I can't remember what it's called. I can just remember what like noodle dish they have there because that's how my brain works. I'm very food motivated. But yeah, you can just go there and like talk to North Korean people because they're always crossing to and fro for work. So you can talk to a real live North Korean person. I think I'll do that. I'm like saving really, really hard right now because I want to go to Japan and South Korea next year because the Australian dollar is just really strong right now. Yeah, Dandong. That's the city. The Australian dollar is really strong right now against the yen and the won and the Korean won. So I really, really want to go. Like, it's been a dream for like forever, really. So yeah, hopefully like it should be quite affordable, and yeah, because I'm just somebody that like can travel cheaply because I will just walk around on foot and look at things, and like I always read about every single historical site before I go, so I don't like need to pay for tours and stuff because I'm like, I am the tour guide. I have memorized all the information. XH wants to get pegged. Do you want to get pegged? I myself, I do not provide those services, and if I did, you would not be able to afford them, sir. You can afford? No, you really can't. I guarantee you can't. The price of my dignity comes with a very, very high price tag. Well, it would be, if you're a multi-millionaire, it would be at least all the money you have and then some more. Like, you would have to sell your organs. You would have to promise me your firstborn child. We'd have to perform a blood ritual so that I could like siphon off their life force. It would be a whole thing, mate. Like, I appreciate that you really want to get pegged, and you know, I support your lifestyle. I really do. But yeah, go with God, my child. I'm not the one to provide you with that service, so Godspeed. Yeah, hit him with the Midnight Hammer Hyperbovian. It's not quite a strap-on, but they still might appreciate it. It is kind of like getting rooted in a way, so they might appreciate the band hammer. Go for gold Hyperbovian. And everybody has to go and brush their teeth and put on their pajamas if you wear them. I mean, I know some people don't, but what happens if your house burns down? What will the fire brigade think? You have to think about that. Brush your teeth. If you're a girl, do your skincare routine. We all know how important that is. Yeah. Brush your hair if you're a girl. Put it in a protective hairstyle so you don't wake up with knotty hair. And that's the way we do it.